Let's bring in our Tuesday panel. Alfonso Aguilar from the Latino Partnership for Conservative Principles and a former chief of the U.S. Office of Citizenship under President George W. Bush. USA Today's Jackie Kucinich, the Washington Post's David Nakamura, and MSNBC military analyst and Medal of Honor recipient Colonel Jack Jacobs. Colonel Jacobs, I want to start with you. I know you've been asked this question a couple of times, and it just is nagging at me. Because the military is held up in such high regard by this country. A scandal like this involving two four-star generals, and yes, you know, the jury is still out on General Allen, and I think his denial needs to be taken more at face value until we have more information. But you can't help but wonder, is there a culture here we're missing?
Well, you know, all the mistakes are made by individuals at the end of the day. There's a fairly robust culture to make sure that people who have high standards, both professional and moral, rise to the top ranks. It's not flawless, and from time to time, people make mistakes. I think I'm old enough to remember Dwight Eisenhower, who carried on a long-term affair with his driver, Kay Summersby, and it was fairly well known, yet nothing was done about it. I think trying to extrapolate, saying that as a result of this scandal, we should not necessarily hold the system in repute as a bad one. It is a good system. It works really hard to elevate good people to the top, but it isn't flawless.
I would say, are you concerned actually that you could have the reverse issue, that you're looking for such purity and such...
Well, you're not going to get it.
Well, okay. Well, all right, I was going to... But does that mean either you won't get it or you get less qualified people who just may be of just such high moral character? Well, you're liable to get both. It makes it easier to confirm them?
You not only won't get what you're looking for, but you're also liable to wind up elevating people who are not qualified to do what they're supposed to do. The interesting thing about this generalship business is that sometimes the very nature of being a general officer, and although you have lots of authority and responsibility, there's something of a cocoon that develops around you. You're surrounded with people, everything gets taken care of for you and all the rest of that stuff. It is easy to get complacent and sloppy.
Well, I mean, that was the General McChrystal story and how he sort of allowed maybe the loose lips issue there. David, I want to turn to sort of where the White House, this is not the issue they want to be talking about. Half their press conference is probably going to be in some form of this. But it also seems they're not politically scared of this issue, though, are they?
No. What's interesting about this one, Chuck, is you think of this big scandal, national security implications.
Yeah, should be right at the heart.
Yeah, and the Republicans would really be all over it. But because Petraeus is a Republican, because he served for a Republican, I think a little bit
perceived as a Republican. That's what we don't know that he is. I think that
Jay Carney said that he serves the country, not party. But he served for a Republican president. He enjoyed a lot of bipartisan support. I think that has helped insulate the White House a little bit.
Alfonso, is that fair? I mean, do you think there would be sort of louder Republican voices on this, if you will, if this were somebody that was a closer member of the Obama team?
Yeah, I think we're already hearing some Republicans asking tough questions. I mean, the timing of this story is unfortunate, and it generates a lot of questions and suspicion. Is this somehow related to Benghazi? But General Petraeus was under investigation when he went to the Hill to testify about Benghazi, and he basically told members of Congress that the Benghazi situation was a reaction to a spontaneous, this
was the CIA report. I mean, this goes to what the White House has been saying all along, is what the CIA intelligence at the time was saying what it was.
But there are many questions. I mean, the station chief of the CIA was saying right after the attack that this was a premeditated terrorist attack. So there are many questions, and I think today we have Senator McCain and others in the House calling for a special committee to investigate. So I think there are going to be a lot of questions about this, not only about the sex scandal, but is this related to the Benghazi?
A lot of senators want him to testify still. I mean, talking to people on the Hill yesterday, on both sides of the aisle, you heard, yeah, he should come in and testify and talk to us about this, no matter what his formal status is at this point.
I was just going to say, Colonel Jacobs, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to, about getting castigation from the Hill. I think that's the last place in the world you're going to get people talking about moral turpitude. Seriously, I don't think you're going to get a whole lot of complaints, which is, I think, one of the reasons why you've got, quite frankly, a great deal support for General Allen from both sides of the aisle.
It's very true.
All right. Colonel Jacobs, I want to thank you, but before I let you go, I should let everybody here at the table, we have just learned, according to a senior official in the United States Senate, David Petraeus will testify tomorrow. He will come on Capitol Hill. So there is your potential. It may be off-site. It may not happen on Capitol Hill, but he will testify, at least in private, with members of the Intelligence Committee. Anyway, Colonel Jacobs, thank you much. The rest of the panel, stick around. I want to talk a little domestic politics, but trivia time. Our panel, an hour full of breaking news. We heard about Angus King with the Democrats. Nancy Pelosi is running again. That official announcement takes place in about 7.5 minutes. And David Petraeus will testify tomorrow in front of Senate Intelligence Committee, not in front of cameras, but on Capitol Hill tomorrow. Let me bring back my panel: Alfonso Aguilar, Jackie Kucinich, David Nakamura. By the way, I want to go to the Nancy Pelosi news here a minute. It's one thing to have said it's $6 billion, Democrats, and after $6 billion were spent, Alfonso, Democrats hold the White House, Senate, Republicans hold the House. Okay, status quo. But it's status quo among the leaders. Republicans not changing their leaders. Boehner and McConnell still in charge. Democrats not changing their leaders, although they did better, and you could argue that there's no reason. Are you surprised there's not a push to change leaders inside your party? Even if it's just the face of the party a little bit.
Right. Well, it's difficult. I mean, within the House, there is I think there's going to be a battle for the conference chair prize.
But
But yeah, I'm surprised. Yeah, but at the same time, we need strong leadership. We need a strong speaker, and I think Boehner can actually do the job on important issues like the fiscal cliff, immigration.
Well, it looks like he's going to get more political leeway than he had. He doesn't have Eric Cantor. It seems like there's more trust between Cantor and Boehner now than there was before. But Jackie, if the American people had known that they not only were re-electing status quo, but the same people are in the room who gave us the gridlock 2 years ago, I almost wonder how that ballot would have turned out if that were the specific question.
Yeah, Romney tried at the end to say it was status quo versus change. It just didn't. I mean, I wonder if he had said, okay, guys, it's going to be the same people in the room.
Right.
And a lot of this is going to be theater. We were talking about that for the first couple days.
Right.
Hopefully not weeks, but, there's going to be a lot of, we'll give this, we won't give that. We're going to see a lot of the same. I'd go back and reread the clips.
David, it's interesting, looking for, both parties are in search of new faces. Look at the House Democrats' top 3 leaders. They're all over the age of 70, and there is a push. The fact is, if Pelosi had left, and I think that this may have influenced her from what I understand, then you would have had a white male take over the House Democrats when a majority of the House Democratic caucus is not white male.
Right, and the country's changing so much. I think the Obama illustrated that 4 years ago. He's talked about that a lot. His base is very diverse. I think people want that, but I don't know. I mean, it's in one way you say this is a status quo and how surprised we are, but the other way it maybe sort of speaks where the country is. We are so deadlocked. It is so red and blue, sort of 50-50, and I think what's more important, of course, is going to be what the really outcome of this negotiation is.
And we are. Look, Alfonso, you were just saying during the break, the country did send one message on one issue that you care about, immigration.
Absolutely. Well, and that's the whole point. I mean, we have the same leaders, but I think hopefully they understand that there's a different mandate, and the mandate is for them to work together. The issue of immigration is important because I think when it comes to the Republicans, we're seeing a seismic change when it comes to Latinos and immigration in the Republican side. An avalanche of Republicans who were actually anti-immigration, all of a sudden saying we want to work on immigration. Absolutely. We've had immigration reform.
85 votes. It's my over-under. Anyway, shameless plugs. Jackie, you first.
I'm sorry to start out like this, guys. Something actually shameless, but family to family, they're doing a lot to make sure people in Long Island and various parts of New York affected by Hurricane Sandy are having good Thanksgivings. So you can donate on their website, family to family.
There's a lot of people still hurting.
A lot of people, and just making the holidays a little bit better.
We'll take a look. David.
I wanted to say congratulations to our outgoing editor at the Washington Post, Marcus Broccoli, on a great run, and welcome to Marty Barron of the Boston Globe, who's coming to the Post.
Both great newspaper men, and both should be held in high esteem.
The legendary Notre Dame football coaches, Leahy, Persigan, Devine.
And now Kelly, you're putting them in there?
They won their first championship, the 3rd year at Notre Dame. This is the 3rd year of
But they should have won last year. You realize they had this string going, 77, 66, 77, 88. 11 should have been their year, from what I understand.
And go Bucks.